Hi everyone, today I want to share with you how I make a mini clasp envelope junk journal, and I'm going to be using a 6x9 envelope clasp. You can make these yourself from regular cardstock, 12x12 scrapbook paper. Jamie from Poet Spice has a tutorial, and I'll put her link down below once I finish this video. And you'll need a 3x6 cardboard. I used the back of a cereal box, some packing tape, a needle. I'm using a needle, but you can use a thumbtack or a push pin, but a needle makes it easier. 12-inch string, because I'm going to be doing a pamphlet stitch, and some paper. So for a mini journal or a clasp journal, I use 6 pieces of paper, which folded makes 12, and then back and front and back makes 24 pages. So this makes it easier to work with, because the more pages you have, the more difficult it becomes to thread your pages. So if you start with a small number, and then I'll share with you how I continue to build up. So you'll need some scissors, a hole punch with a small hole. This one is about, I want to say 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8, but it's the tiniest hole punch that I have. Don't use your regular hole punch, because I'll share with you why. And then you'll need some glue. I use glue stick, but you use what you have available. The glue stick is just easier for me. And I think that's all I'm going to be using. And also a paper bag, which I have cut the bottom, which later you can use within your junk journal, or you can just pitch it and throw it away. You can also use the 9x12 envelope, but because I have a very limited workspace, I'm going to be using the smaller one, but it's pretty much the same process. You just need a larger sheet of paper. So first, what I do is clear my workspace, and I'm using the 6x9 envelope clasp. I fold it in half so that my spine gets conditioned to folding, and I bump it up to the edge of the flap, but I leave a little space, because as this gets filled, it gives the spine more room to expand. So I leave about 1/4 of an inch from the flap crease. And then what I do next is that 3x6 cardboard, I slip it in so that it gives my journal a little stability on this end, because once I stitch it, then I can't add anything more to this unless I cut this part off, which is the opposite end from the flap, and in order to add the cardboard. So I'd rather just go ahead and do it now. And then what I'll do is I don't prep anything more than that. And then for the spine, I add some packing tape. All the way around. Okay. And what I do next is I smooth out. Well, if this were a little bit more prepared, I would have smoothed out my lunch bag. But I use a paper bag to kind of create a base for my journal, because brown is a little bit more subtle. So anyway, what you do is you measure up your envelope And you're going to cover up with the lunch paper bag. I think that's how you say it, your lunch bag. And I'm leaving about 1 inch along the border. This will be kind of sloppy, but at least you'll get the idea. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So I try to, be very neat about this part, but for time's sake, I'm going to rush it a little bit. So now what you do is fold all of your edges, and this just gives you a guide. Okay, then I will add my glue. Make sure you have good coverage here. And you might want to use a plastic card, like a credit card or a gift card or whatever, to kind of smooth it out, which is what I would normally do. But right now I don't have that time. This is just to give you an idea of how I cover up my class journals. Okay. So then I leave about 1 inch all the way around. Okay. Smooth it out. And then you miter your corners, cut them at an angle. This makes it easier for when you fold. Okay. And then what I like to do is in the center, I cut a slit. I don't think that's the center. Oh, Dios mío. Alright, so in the center, and then you angle it like that. So it creates a triangle. And you do that on both sides. Okay, then I do, for this flap, I do the same thing, because that's where it's going to bend, right? So you're going to get something that looks like that. Like this on either end. So then next is gluing your flaps. See how that finishes up really nice there? If you do that. This is just how I do it, so it's just a guide. Alright, and then I think I've left too much on this end, so I'll just cut some of it off. Smooth that out. Same thing here. And then for the flap, what I like to do is wing it. So here I will take a little bit off. Okay. So here the flaps go in first. I hope I'm getting all of this on camera. Okay, and then, yeah, then glue this part down. real pretty. Please do a better job than this. So I like to leave my flap on the right hand side, but I have seen others that put their flap on the left hand side so that when they close it, it just depends on your preference. But I like to open it from left to right. I mean, from right to left, and leave my flap on the right hand side. My right, so it would be your left, right? So once you've got this part down, see how craft paper, then you can, continue to lay other things on top of this. Or you can use white paper, whatever your project is going to be. I just like to use craft paper. And so what I'll do next is measure up my paper inside. Is that everything? Okay, I have 6 pages here. And then, your inside covers, they can be covered later. Or if you prefer to do them at this point, you can go ahead and do that. So what I do next is, I'm into 11 minutes. Wow. Okay. What I do next is I punch a hole. In the center crease, so that it makes it easier for my, make sure I do it pretty good. Okay, so for a pamphlet stitch, you really only need 2 holes, but to make it look prettier, I use this method to punch the holes. And since the head on my needle is pretty big, and then the type of twine that I'm using, I need a little bigger hole. And this just gives it a nicer finish on the other end, so that it doesn't look like it's protruding, like you protruded your needle. So then I eyeball the middle, fold my envelope, and then just punch a hole. Like towards the end. Yeah. So then I'll take my needle and make sure that it goes through. See, like right here I messed up. And plus the cover still has the glue, so it hasn't dried up yet. So I'll work the holes a little bit. But normally I like to use just 2 holes because I can still add more pages in between. So let me do this. So you start in the middle. Leave a little tail, then you go up, and at this point you don't have to make sure that it's taut, because you're going to be adding more pages, and the more pages that you add, the bulkier your journal's going to get. But with 6 pages, you see what I mean? You don't have to maneuver it as much as if you had. You don't have to maneuver and make sure that you've grabbed all of your pages, which is why I don't like the pamphlet stitch. And I prefer the easy twine binding, but when I have to, this is how I do it. Okay, so then you tie it off in the middle, and if you want to hide that, if you want to hide the center, what you can do is just fold these 2 pieces, this flap and this flap, fold it here so that it creates a pocket, right? and it hides your twine. So then this is the basic structure of how I cover up my journals. Okay, so at this point, you're free to embellish it how you want to, and since you've left enough space at the top and the bottom, you can actually add more pages at this point. So you can start filling it in with little knickknacks and stuff like that. In between here, to just give you an example. And then take another spot and fill it in here. I think I'm over my time, but I hope this video has given you some insight on how to quickly do a clasp journal. So when you're flipping through it, you can stamp, whatever pages you use, then bam, there goes a short page, then there goes another one, and this is your pocket so you don't see that center stitch. See? Bam. It's a wonderful thing. So you all should give these mini clasp envelopes a try, and also don't be afraid of using a hole punch to punch your spine and then thread your needle through. So I hope this video has been helpful. Leave your comments. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, please give me feedback on what I can change. I really appreciate you watching this mini tutorial. It's not mini, but I hope I got to the point. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.